Quick question. What should a director do on set? Work with the actors? Focus on framing the scene? Coordinate the crew? Yep, all of those are correct. But the Harry Potter director had a bigger job to do, taming the little daredevils.
We're so annoying.
Imagine an army of kids on set who simply can't control their energy. Oh my God.
Their first instinct was to smile and laugh a lot and look at each other with this look of, how did we get here?
But it was more than just dealing with misbehavior. Having absolutely no film experience, the kid actors were a real never-ending nightmare for the director, Chris Columbus. Yes, Chris had worked with children previously, but they had all had at least some film experience.
In the early days, I had to find a way wrangling these kids to deliver some sort of performance because they couldn't have been any greener.
Most people don't realize how much effort this man put in to make absolutely unprofessional kids look so convincing on camera. We want to show you some funny examples of how Chris directed the legendary trio.
Head up, eyes wider. She's just told you he's gone.
He's gone? But this is important.
Yeah. You gotta look to them. He's gone.
Not good enough. The director isn't happy. Let's do one more take, kids.
Set and...
Should we go from he's gone? He's gone? But this is important. This is about the Sorcerer's Stone.
Nope. The pause was too long, and the voice wasn't strong enough to convince McGonagall that the trio need to meet Dumbledore. See? It's hard. The crew took dozens of takes for each of the scenes, because there were so many things that went wrong.
Chris was so wonderful with them. He often had to chin up Dan.
Head up, Dan. Head up, even higher.
Rupert, stop smiling.
No, not smile.
Emma, look this way.
You guys should look at each other after he's gone.
The executive producer, Mark Radcliffe, nope, he isn't Daniel's father, he just has the same surname, used to laugh a lot, saying that the crew should have put the camera on Chris. Why? Oh, it's simple.
Because what the kid's performance really was a reflection of what he was doing, what he was bringing out.
Well, that definitely required lots of patience for the director, right? Watch out, Daniel! Everyone has their limits. Same for Professor McGonagall. Just look at Maggie Smith's face after dozens of takes. She can't take it anymore. Want to recall how this piece looked in the movie? Here you go.
He received an urgent owl from the Ministry of Magic and left immediately for London.
He's gone, but this is important. This is about the Philosopher's Stone.
Pretty great performance, Daniel. This was an example of the close-up. Yeah, close-ups are tricky. You can't hide anything from the camera. But, believe it or not, there were also issues filming wide shots with the kids too. Do you remember the boat scene in The Sorcerer's Stone? The kids were heading to Hogwarts, pointing at the castle. What could be tricky about that, right? Well, actually, pointing at the castle was tricky. The thing is, instead of Hogwarts, the little wizards only saw a green screen. That's why it took the director a while to explain to the kids how exactly they should do such a simple thing.
One last thing, if you're gonna point, if you are pointing, you just point it out to the person next to you, you point, and then lower your arm. Don't point forever. It's just a quick thing to point one of the buildings out, one of the cool things that you're looking at, okay? Got it?
And it was only multiple takes later that the kids managed to do it just right. Soon after, Chris realized that he needed to come up with a new way to work with the kids. Luckily, he had a creative cinematographer, John Seal. John invented a technique that was very similar to how they filmed documentary movies. Let's talk about that. The innovative way to shoot a scene.
It was important for me to always have a camera on one of them in case one of them was coming down off of a chocolate rush, or they lost their energy, or they were getting tired, or they were looking into the camera. God knows, there were a million things going on.
Yes, Chris realized that using multiple cameras was the only way to succeed, because he never knew when the actors would deliver the performance he needed. If Rupert, for example, started to laugh unexpectedly while Emma was delivering terrific acting, that was fine. The camera filmed those priceless seconds. And by the way, Rupert's giggling only helped Emma to nail that never-ending annoyingness.
Now, if you two don't mind, I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed. Or worse, expelled.
Don't mess with Emma. The interesting is that they don't typically shoot movies like that. As we've already said, it's almost exclusively used for documentaries, with only one major difference. In a documentary, they can capture long shots, but working with kids, it was always about the small pieces, which kind of turned the editor's job into a nightmare.
So if you look at the first film, you see it's very cutty. In other words, we cut to a close-up of a kid, and then I cut away to someone else. We were incapable of getting an entire scene in context.
While watching the first Harry Potter film, did you notice that it was very bitty? Let us know in the comments. Do you want to know what else helped Chris Columbus to tame the little daredevils? Or we should rather say who helped him? Yes, we're talking about the outstanding and flawless Maggie Smith.
And she was intimidating. I mean, she was intimidating to the crew because she's so smart, she's so brilliant. And the kids could sense that. But that was good. At that point, she was the disciplinarian.
You bet she was. The same can be said about Alan Rickman, aka Snape. Every time this man appeared on set in character, everyone quietened down. Daniel Radcliffe confessed that he needed to constantly remind himself it was only a film, and Rickman wasn't really a stern wizard.
Turn to page 394.
Talk about discipline. What did the kids really think of Chris?
Chris was in the Great Hall with about 350 children, and if one came up and talked to him, he would automatically just sit down as though he'd known them all his life.
Because that is just who this man is. He's supportive, kind, and super attentive, no matter what happened.
This one will be the last day, no matter what happens. Focus. Big reaction. It's almost lunchtime for you guys, yeah.
Quiet, please.
We love how calm and understanding Chris is here, replying to Daniel that it's almost lunchtime. Chris understood like nobody else. If his little actors felt even a tiny bit uncomfortable and unsafe, then the movie might not have worked. I understood that if I fail, everyone in the world would hate me. No pressure, huh?
All right, roll sound. Here it is. Okay, relax, okay?
So I'm gonna have 100 kids running around. It'd be really nice for everyone.
I feel like I've learned so much through the acting experience.
And closer to the end of filming The Sorcerer's Stone, the famous trio started to impress Chris. They became true professionals. One specific scene made the director realize that. Remember the chess scene? It was one of the coolest to film. By the way, we have another video on our channel where we explain how this gigantic set was made and how the crew exploded those chess pieces if you want to check it out. But the coolest thing about the scene for Chris wasn't about the decorations or special effects. It was about his little heroes.
We shot that as we were getting closer to the end of the picture, and at that time the kids were really starting to come into their own as actors. And the kids delivered just wonderful performances there.
That must have been super rewarding for the director. Now it's hard to imagine how different the movies could have been if Chris Columbus hadn't been the director. Fighting for the director's chair. Do you know who was the first choice to make the Harry Potter movies? Mr. Steven Spielberg. Yes, the legendary director was apparently very interested, and the reason why he rejected the Warner Brothers proposal is shrouded in mystery. Some people say Spielberg was busy doing other projects. Some say he didn't see any risks for himself to create a successful movie. There were also those who say that Spielberg wanted to make a cartoonish version of the Harry Potter world, which is almost impossible to imagine now, right? Anyway, Spielberg declined Harry Potter, letting 50 other directors compete for the director's chair, and one of them was Chris.
And I called my agent and I said, I think I would really like to make a movie of this material. I really responded to it. I saw the movie in my head when I read the first book, and I saw the world in contention, and I thought there is no way, shape, or form.
So, how did he manage to persuade Warner Brothers that he was the perfect candidate for the director's chair? Oh, it was easy. Chris wrote a draft script in only 2 weeks, where he expressed his vision for the first Harry Potter movie. And he was probably the only one who did that, which really impressed the big bosses of the studio.
I don't think they ever read it. They probably never they never read it, and I think they...
But it said something to them anyway.
It said that I had an intense passion to do the material, and it probably said to them that my vision, whatever that is, gelled with JK Rowling's vision.
Yeah. And the rest was history.
I got a call from one of the executives who said, "You're our guy, we're gonna go with you." So it was an amazing moment. It was an amazing moment because I remember walking into the kitchen of my house and telling my wife, I got the job.
Aww. For sure that was a moment that Chris will remember all his life. Still can't get enough of Harry Potter videos? Well, check out these then. What are you waiting for, huh? Thanks for watching, and take care, folks.